paragraph. If you are contesting this divorce, if you want to argue about the paperwork that we signed in the prenup, you are 100% responsible for paying your own legal fees. That's what it says. Google it. Look it up all over the internet. Google it, Google it, Google it. This woman claims that I kicked her and my 1-year-old daughter. My baby got snatched out of her crib. She packed up 50 boxes, took my daughter. I was actually working on a movie in New Jersey, which is now called Rogue Hostage. I left New Jersey on a Friday. I left the movie set about 3 hours early, and they threatened to sue me for like $400,000 because I had more work to do on the movie set and I wasn't supposed to leave. But I was like, nah, she on the phone, she claiming I'm out of here, I'm done. But I was like, you know what? This could be a woman that's yelling and screaming and she's in her feelings, because sometimes we say things that we don't mean when we're mad. I was in New Jersey with a guy named Rod Gardner, who's married to a woman named Leticia Gardner. Samantha was at home with Leticia Gardner with the kids. Rod was in New Jersey with me, training me, and I had my brother Archie out there. Rod told me, you know, bro, I've been with my wife almost 12 years and I've never been away from her for more than 4 days. So I said, yo, Rod, I'm leaving Jersey, bro. Sam on the phone talking about she out. And why were we arguing? Why were we arguing? Why were we arguing? Why did we break up? Everybody wants to know, did you cheat on her? Did you lie? Did you physically abuse her? Did you verbally abuse her? Were you a toxic, dysfunctional person? No. The only woman I kissed in 5 years was Naomi Harris in the movie Black and Blue, and I kissed her on her forehead. So I just got a cease and desist letter. But here's my question to you, Samantha. Why didn't you cease and desist from all the lies that you put in legal documents? Over 15 lies were in court documents. When you lie under oath, you are lying under penalty of perjury. You can't expect people out here to be thinking of me in a positive light. Now, I can say and do some dumb shit and mess things up for my own life or my own career. But if somebody's gonna lie on you and they're gonna create these negative, disparaging thoughts and they're gonna put them in court documents, you got people out here thinking that I would really throw my wife and my 1-year-old baby out to the streets, change all the locks, cut off the credit cards. So did I change the locks? Yes, I did. I changed the locks 4 days. 4 days after you moved out on your own. I cut off the credit card that was a joint credit card that I put about $25,000 on every month for us. You had your own money, then we had a joint credit card. You had your own credit card. We had a joint credit card. And I was like, baby, whatever you need, here's the money, go do your thing. Were you supposed to leave me? You robbed my house while I was out of town. You took your stuff. I'm not even sure how much shit you took of mine that belongs to me. Because what? I wasn't there. So now you sending me a cease and desist letter. Rod Gardner jumped on the plane with me. And we ended up in an SUV. And we drove somewhere out in the suburbs where they live. I remember I had George Floyd's oldest sister on the phone. Remember that, Samantha? I had George Floyd's oldest sister on the phone, and I walked up to you while you were sitting at the kitchen counter, and I said, baby, I know you want to leave me because I shot 2 music videos in a row. That's why she left me. I was casting, location scouting. I did 2 music videos on behalf of black culture. I had 4 dead people in my video: George Floyd, Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin, and Queen Breonna Taylor. So you marry a singer and an entertainer, and then you end up divorcing me because I'm so focused and committed to my craft. I never cheated on you. I never met up with another woman for lunch or dinner or did anything behind your back. I never did anything. I never cheated on this woman. Y'all want to project toxic masculinity off onto me? What about toxic femininity? What about the fact that her mother has been divorced 4 times, and every time she would go to her mama's house, she was over there saying all this negative, toxic shit and ended up compromising my marriage? In the Bible, for all of the believers, it says, leave and cleave to your family and your husband. Her mother never wanted her to leave or cleave. So every time they would hang out, if they're having a discussion about things that's going on, whatever that might be, her mother, toxic, been divorced 4 times, and she basically brainwashed my wife, I believe, into leaving me. If she left me on her own, then I'm pulling out my human calculator as a human being, and I'm asking, what did I ever say and do that can make this woman to not only leave me, but leave me as abrasively and aggressively as she did? Heartless, narcissistic, sociopathic behavior. That's what my therapist told me this is. When you're a narcissist, there's some positive in being a narcissist, because when you are a narcissist, you believe in yourself and you will stop at nothing to do whatever it takes to become successful. When you're a narcissist as a negative, everything is about you. Everywhere you go, everything you do, everything you say, you're always thinking about your own self-interest and whatever self-interest you have in mind. But when you're a narcissistic, selfish person, where everything is about you, everything, and you're a sociopath, when you say things and you do things and you inflict pain off onto people, you don't have the emotional bandwidth to be able to process what you're saying and what you're doing, and more importantly, how that's hurting someone's feelings. The narcissist will always see everything through their own eyes and through their lens and through their own self-benefit and self-interest. But when you're a narcissist sociopath, that is a very, very volatile combination of one person. You want to call me a narcissist because I'm an alpha, because I'm loud, because I'm aggressive about my career and how I hustle and do whatever it takes to get it? Or do I believe in myself? Yes, I might be loud, I might be outspoken, I may be an alpha, but I don't have a vile, malicious, evil bone in my body. Ask around. All I do is go above and beyond to love on, pour into people, take care of people. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll take the shirt off my back to go above and beyond, to love on people and pour into people. That's why people love me. I don't fire people because they're having a bad week or they're dealing with something personal at home. The amount of producers, writers, directors, editors, cinematographers, writers, you know, music producers, songwriters, the amount of people over the years that I've went above and beyond to look out for, man, I can't even keep count. I got people to this day walking up to me to tell me stories about what I did for their life and their career, and I give all praises to the Lord Jesus Christ. But I have never been a selfish person. I've never been the type of person that wants to see everything through the lens of how I benefit. I go above and beyond and I help people. That's why people like me always end up fucked up and hurt and broken in the end. Put my hoodie back on, man. It's cold as hell out here. Anyway, let me go back to my story. Since I have a cease and desist, this will be my last video. I got on the plane with Rod Gardner. We jumped in the SUV when we landed in Atlanta. We drove about an hour outside the city to their suburb. I walked in the house with George Floyd's oldest sister on the phone. And I said, my wife wants to leave me because I shot this legendary video. Look this shit up on YouTube, y'all. It's Tyrese featuring CeeLo Green. The song is called Legendary. The opening of the song, I'm laying on the ground as George Floyd with an officer with his knee on my neck. And then we have Trayvon Martin laying on the ground with Skittles. We got Eric Garner laying on the ground. Rest in peace to all of these kings and queens with a pack of Newports on the ground. And then the camera pans over to me laying on the ground as George Floyd. The whole video is with me and CeeLo Green. We were doing date night in LA during quarantine. Every Friday, it's still on my Instagram. I got receipts. I'm telling y'all the truth. I poured and I poured and I poured and I loved on this woman. We didn't get in no argument during quarantine. We probably had 2 disagreements in 10 months. I got back to Atlanta 6 a.m. Father's Day morning. Father's Day of all days. 2 days later, I was running around scouting location. I had the director who directed Black and Blue, Deon Taylor, to come out a couple days later. And I shot the video called Legendary, featuring CeeLo Green. The video was a 1-day shoot. Not that much time at all. Then we shot a video called Black Excellence. It was Tyrese featuring Rick Ross. Please look up that video. Tyrese featuring Rick Ross. My brother Major was in the video. The video is amazing. Black Excellence featuring Rick Ross. And guess who was the leading lady in my video? Samantha. I was probably working on both of these music videos for a total of 7 weeks. You married a singer, you married an actor. That's just like marrying Denzel Washington or Christian Bale and then filing for divorce when they get in character for a movie. You marry me. You want to reap the benefits of my life and my lifestyle. To then when it's time for me to sing, edit, do music videos, location scouting, casting, and doing all the things that I did, I poured into you in our marriage for 10 straight months and we were all stuck in quarantine. I shot a music video, then I shot another one, both of them on behalf of black culture. Legendary featured 4 queens and kings that have been died, brutally killed and murdered from excessive force and police brutality. I have never shot a music video that featured 4 dead people in my life. So I thought that there was going to be some backlash that came from the families of these fallen soldiers. Not only did I get all the love in the world from Trayvon's mother, Eric Garner's family, Breonna Taylor's family, and George Floyd's family, Tanya Floyd, George Floyd's oldest sister, said, if your wife is going to leave you because you shot 2 music videos on behalf of the civil rights movement, put me on the phone with her. I walked into Rod and Leticia's house with George Floyd's sister on the phone. And she begged Samantha to not leave me. The Floyd family is still traumatized because of what happened to George. Now she's on the phone trying to tell my wife to not leave me because I went and shot music videos on behalf of murder, excessive force, brutality. This woman packed up 50 boxes while I was in an airplane on the way home to save my marriage and my family for whatever it is that she wanted to leave me over. I'm gonna tell y'all the worst part, and then I'm gonna get off the video. I got a cease and desist, but as I cease and desist, I can only talk about the things that Samantha put in court documents. This ain't no miracle on a Monday. I'm not out here representing the kingdom of the Lord Jesus Christ while doing vile, evil, and disrespectful things to my husband. You handing out miracles on Mondays, but you don't want to tell nobody the truth. I'm going to tell my truth, and then I'm going to shut up and I'm going to leave it alone. While Samantha was packing up her 50 boxes that she paid for with my credit card, she used my credit card to leave me. I was in the airplane flying home from New Jersey to save my family and my marriage. She had 6 or 7 people to pull up to the house. She somehow found out I was headed home to try and fight for my family. And she packed up 50 boxes to leave me. But you know what makes it worse? She has a therapist named Stacy that she's been with for well over 10 years. Pastor John Gray and Aventer Gray, as y'all know, they're my favorite people. I love them. I love them. I love them. I've been there for them. They've been there for me. Because someone's a pastor doesn't mean that they're perfect. Doesn't mean that they'll never say and do anything to make a mistake. We as Christian folks, we put pastors up on super high platform and stage and we expect them to be perfect. But nobody's perfect. This man and this woman, Aventer and John Gray, were having some marital problems at the time. And God bless Samantha for doing this. She arranged for her personal therapist named Stacy to show up to my house to do a 3-hour therapy session with Aventer Gray in her office with her personal therapist. But you know what's crazy? She arranged for Aventer Gray to have a therapy session to save her marriage with Pastor John Gray. And when Aventer Gray walked out of her therapy session, she came into the foyer in my house. Y'all know that bumblebee, that big old bumblebee in my foyer? She came out of her therapy session with Samantha's therapist to save her marriage. And she came out to see 50 boxes in the foyer. She's arranging for her to help save her marriage. To have a wife who's trying to save her marriage through therapy, through the power of God, who could heal all things. When Aventer Gray stepped out of her therapy session with Samantha's therapist, she walked into the foyer to see 50 boxes with 7 people rushing and packing to leave the house. She took my 1-year-old baby from me, packed up all of her shit, left her family, her marriage, And what is the reason? Because I shot 2 music videos in a row. And she asked me in the kitchen. It wasn't funny at all at the time, but I'm sitting there and everybody's like, this sounds bizarre. This can't be true. You had to have said and done something else. Well, if I did something else, if I said something else, if I treated my wife any other kind of way at the time, why didn't she say it? Aventer Gray walked out of her therapy session in Samantha's office that Samantha arranged to help save her marriage. And Aventer was like, what's going on? What is going on? And she said, don't worry about it. You know, I'm just grabbing a couple things, blah, blah, blah. She said whatever she could say to Aventer Gray to calm her down, because Aventer can obviously see this woman is about to leave her husband. But she appeased her. She manipulated her. She made her feel like everything is cool. Don't worry about it. Aventer left the house and was like, well, you know, if you don't want to talk to me, I mean, you're obviously trying to help me to save my marriage. I'm a woman of God. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and favor from the Lord. I'm a woman of God. I got something else to do right now. But if you're about to leave your husband, if you're helping me to stay with my husband, then I need to sit here right now and commit myself to your marriage and your family as well. What's going on? No, don't worry about it. Cease and desist. I will, but I'm going to tell my truth. Then I'll cease and desist. You never cease and desist from putting all these lies all over all of these court documents. You and your attorneys never cease and desist from damn near charging me $350,000 in legal fees. You never cease and desist concerning yourself about saying all of these evil and disparaging things about me and fucking up my character and compromising my reputation and compromising my survival. There are people out here that could have decided to not hire me. Thank God they didn't. There could have been people out here who decided, fuck Tyrese, I'm not going to his concert. He kicked that woman out. This woman is beautiful. They got a baby together, man. Fuck Tyrese. Thank God nobody believed your goofy ass. So after Aventer left, she took 50 boxes. They left. I landed with Rod, jumped in the SUV, went to Leticia Gardner's house. And I said, man, go on in the house and spend that time with your family. Go on and love on your wife and your family. I took you away from your wife for 2 weeks. You told me you've never been away from your wife for more than 4 days. I flew back home with Rod. I said to Sam, after she got off the phone with George Floyd's sister, they were on the phone for like 35 minutes. She was like, you know, we gonna work it out. We gonna figure out. Once again, appeasing people, manipulating, and making somebody feel like you actually listening, believe that you're actually gonna do something or change your mind. Thank God for Tanya Floyd. I appreciate you trying. With all of the trauma that you and your family was dealing with, the fact that you got on the phone to try and help me to save my marriage, I'm beyond grateful. She got off the phone with George Floyd's older sister. She came out on the front porch. We talked. I said, Sam, I love you. I don't know what's going on. I love you. I mean, y'all know I'm an R&B singer, right? I'm one of the best beggars out there. I know how to beg and plead when I want something. What I wanted was my wife and my family. I've been making money all my life. I've had over 100 cars. I done been through all my jewelry and all of the mansions. I done done it on levels, man, for well over 20 years. What I ain't never had is a marriage and a family. That was more fulfilling for me than anything I've ever had, ever. I realized how empty my life was until I got married. I realized how empty my life was until I had a marriage and a family. Not having children with random women, linking up with 5, 6 different women, baby mamas, and considering that a family. Wanting to have a marriage and a family gave me a level of peace and stability. It calmed my mental health. made me feel like I finally had something. And when you feel like you have something, you will go above and beyond to fight for it and never want to lose it. So I left my movie set. They threatened to sue me for $400,000. Thank God they didn't. I told them I've done movies for over 20 years. If it's a matter of me staying here to do this movie on this Friday, we still got 2 weeks of filming left. If it's a matter of me losing my job or y'all firing me and suing